Hello, welcome to Formulas for Teachers. This is Michael Anderson. This is video number 5 or 6 of a series where we have taken the data that we've collected from students who filled out a Google form across various different teachers, and we've essentially broken it down so that we have all of these would be my kids. These are all of the students' scores, but then they are divided by period in alphabetical order. So this is all my second period kids alphabetically, third period, fourth period, fifth period, and so on. So the reason why we did this is because as teachers, we don't have a whole lot of time. And the last thing that we want to do is to spend all of our time pecking through all of this information so that we can, let me just change these, resize these to make them 10 so they all look good, so that we can put them in the grade book. Because ultimately that's kind of the goal, is to get these grades in the grade book. So now we have these tabs here, these sheets, Anderson, Bass. I could do some for the other teachers. That's pretty self-explanatory. But here's the question. How do I get Coach Bass his data without giving him all the data? And there's various reasons. Again, there's legal reasons for FERPA. There's just the reason of, does he really need all this information? Teachers, if you're a lead teacher, the other teachers, they just need the stuff they need so they can get it in the grade book and keep on going to help service their kids. So here's how we're going to do this. I call this a mirror. You can call it whatever you like, but we're going to create a whole new sheet. So we're going to go File, New Spreadsheet. And it doesn't really matter what we title this spreadsheet, so I'll even leave it untitled right now. But I'm going to use this sheet. This is the sheet that I'm going to share with Coach Bass. I'm not going to share the master sheet. This is where all the scores come in. Now, the sheet that I'm going to share with them, the nice thing is this will update if more of his kids redo the quiz, or if they've been absent and they do it the first time, it doesn't matter. This will automatically update. We're going to use a function or formula called import range. And what import range allows us to do is exactly like it says, import a range of cells from literally anywhere into a new sheet. And only those cells will make it into this sheet. And then I can share this sheet using the little share button over here with Coach Bass, and then he'll have the data. So here's how we do that. First thing we need to figure out is we need a couple pieces of information. We need the name of the sheet that we're going to import. So we're going to import only the sheet that says Bass, that's titled Bass. So it's very important that I know it's capital B, ASS, as opposed to some other way of doing it. Sometimes you'll have a sheet like this one here, form responses 1. I can import this range, but it would have to be form space responses space 1, exactly like that. So it's really important. A lot of times things don't work, and the reason why would be because we didn't realize that we misspelled something, as simple as that. Another piece of information, which is actually kind of more important, is at the very, very top, I need to get what's called the key. And the key is the piece of all of the string of information here that is unique to this specific sheet. And it's located always in the same place. If we look at this docs.google.com spreadsheet, and then it's got /D/ Now, this / after the D is where I want to start. So after that /, that's the beginning of the key, this 1. And it's going to end right before the / by edit, which is right up here. So I'm going to go to the 1. Got to be real careful. I don't want to get the /. I'm going to go all the way to edit like that. That's the key. Now it's blue. I'm going to do Control C. So I have that. So I've got the key. I've got the key at Control C. That's copied into my clipboard. And then I know I'm going to get Bass. So I'm going to now go to my new sheet that's for Coach Bass. And here I'm going to type in this formula, equals import range, and then parentheses. And then in quotes, I'm going to put the sheet key. So that's the key. I just did Control V and that put that there. Then I'm going to do comma, and then I'm going to go another quote, and then I'm going to go Bass, and then the exclamation point. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and do this. I'm just going to close the quote and close the parentheses, and it's going to say loading, and then it's going to say ref, and it's going to say allow access because you have to give permission. So I'll say yes, and because I own the sheet, it's going to give access to this. Actually, it's not. Okay, so in the query formula, this works. In this one, it doesn't work. Notice how I said Bass exclamation point. I got to tell it what to look for. So I have to actually say the actual range. So if I go over here, Coach Bass doesn't need, he needs basically all of this stuff. So we're going to give him, he doesn't really need A, B, and C. He needs everything from E to X. Yeah, so he needs from E to X. So we're going to go over to here, and then right after the exclamation point, without a space, I'm going to type in E colon X. That's the whole range from E to X. Now I'll go enter, and there we go. So everything from E to X, he doesn't have A and B, that long list that's just kind of out of order by period. He only has the information that he needs. And doesn't matter what the sheet is named. I'd leave it sheet 1 if I was doing this for him. And this is it. Now, if he makes any changes right here, this whole thing's going to be right. So he would hopefully know better not to mess with this. But if a student retakes or adds or does something, this will update basically in real time. There's a slight lag, a minute or so, but it'll update basically right away. And this is all the data. So I can just go over here to share, and then, okay, I will name the spreadsheet Passes, Kids, and hit save. And then of course I would share. I'm not going to do that right now, but that's how I would do that. And then he would have access to just this information. I would do the same thing for the other teachers, and then they would have access to their information. And when I do this, I set this up right away, because you don't have to have a lot of data to set this up. And then in real time, as the kids are taking their quizzes or whatever, the teachers get their data. It's all organized. It's really easy to put in the gradebook. It just works, and that's good. So I'm going to have a few more videos that are going to show us a couple different things to do with this data that are a little bit different than this when you get all this form responses. So this accomplishes the goal that we set out to of making sense of everything. But if you want to see a couple things of how to look at the maximum or the average or any number of things that you can do with this data, again, there's 743 rows. How do you get the information that you want? I'm going to have a few more videos that are going to show us how to do that, so you might want to check those out as well. Good luck.